Vaginismus is an involuntary clenching of the vaginal muscles to prevent or to make penetration extremely forced, excruciating, tight, difficult, either by preventing it or by making it hard or tight once in there. And it's a common response to sexual assault or invasive surgeries. And it's something that I don't ever see public rape victims talk about and say this is a consequence of the rape that happened. And I always think that's strange, because having evidence that you have that condition would gain you a lot of credibility, and it would make people see that there are actual impacts and consequences that happen with rape and with surgeries and with a lot of different things that are pushed and prodded and penetrated before the vagina is ready. And the thing about vaginismus that helps me understand it is it's like a sharp object coming toward your eye involuntarily, reflexively, automatically closes. That's the same with vaginismus. It's a reflex. It's very much a protective, oh, we don't want anything coming in that hurts, right? And so you can see why it's an obvious response to being raped, because that was painful and the body is simply self-protecting. And the muscles, it's actually the clenching of the PC muscles. And so what helps with vaginismus, and it is not saying the word for sure, but what helps with it is going to pelvic physical therapy or pelvic armoring, words like that, somatic pelvic work. It helps because what you work on in that is you have a practitioner who gradually, so that it's not going to force the response by having this quick prodding, penetrating, pulling, but she works on specific muscles that have gotten really contracted because they are in a kind of constant fight or flight. And so she's like stretches and works them interior from all around, all the way up to from your uterus to those PC muscles, to just a lot of these little muscles that are holding the clitoris, that are holding those bulbs, that are holding a lot of the ways that we can easily be aroused and the ways that we can easily orgasm. And so having that inner work done can be such a help to things that are, vaginismus, but also there's all kinds of emotions stored in our pelvis. There's all kinds of armoring, and even just going to gynecological exams is something to recover from, because again, it's a forced entry. You can get vaginismus from gynecology exams, because you're so used to somebody having this metal prod trying to put it up there, and your body is like, no, that's painful. We've learned that's painful, so we're going to be an eye that shuts, a door that closes. No, thank you. And that's another reason why, it's not as though this is formed from a lot of everyday things. And I know a lot of women who have developed this from actually a gynecologist who was inappropriate, a gynecologist that made them feel like they couldn't relax soon enough. I know a lot of that kind of medical trauma as a part of it. And there is a lot of, there's such a prodded and forced and pressured way that vaginal care is emphasized. So it's something that I think, I always wonder why, like for instance, why didn't Christine Ford, when she was on trial with her testimony against Brett Kavanaugh, I always thought when she talked about, I haven't recovered from this rape for so long, and she just kind of talks about it psychologically, but I thought, you know, people may not respond to that because they would respond to a specific thing like developing vaginismus, which is common, and it's easy to say, this is the pelvic work I did for this many years, this many months, working on vaginismus, and so that's proof. Because that would just, I always wonder why rape victims don't say that they had, because these things exist. So, and I understand if there's a shame component, but if they're already bringing up the rape, why not bring up that this is the impact and consequence of. I just think that it's a shame that we are thinking that that is something that we can't bring up, because yes, the name sounds scary, but I think it's important to talk about, and I think it's more common than you think. Once you start talking about it, you'll realize everyone's had, even if it's a one-off. It's kind of like when someone, like a guy, can't get hard at one time, and maybe other times he can. It's a similar, it's basically the equivalent of that. It's the woman's version of that. Shut the door, make it tight, make it hard to penetrate. It's a self-protective, you know, reflex. So, and it can happen as a one-off or it can be ongoing, but no matter what, it's completely 100% curable, preventable. It's not like it's very much a psychological and protective response, just like, being premature ejaculation or being impotent are also psychological. People want to make everything physical and get a pill on it, but the truth is all of these things are an emotional response, an anxiety response, and maybe we haven't looked at our emotional, psychological blueprint, but those are why all of these things that develops actually are from that. It's not, and sometimes there's not an easy cause and effect, but anyway, I just wanted to bring up vaginismus. Why don't more public rape victims talk about it? Because the other reason why is, I always wonder, Anyway, if you have vaginismus, I definitely recommend doing pelvic physical therapy internally, beyond the inside. There are little muscles that you can get stretched and worked on in a way that you never knew, and they will open up in a way that you think, wow, I feel so much freer. And these muscles, so many of the area inside, you can get, if you have a tilted uterus, you can get it realigned. If you are having painful intercourse, or if you can't orgasm, or if you can't be aroused easily, or whatever the circumstances, there are so many different things. This kind of work can help those muscles that are in fight or flight, because they're almost permanently adrenalized and retracted and constricted because they're scared from all the invasion. It helps them chill out, relax, regulate, get to a point where they're at their normal optimum, and you're restored. So it's magic. It's exciting. So I hope this was helpful.